Hello, everyone. Coming up here on the Pro Wrestling Show presents the NXT Ring Report. We give you highlights of all the matches that happen in NXT. Especially coming up, we had an important NXT Championship match between champion Karrion Kross defending his championship against Finn Balor. Also, as well as former women's tag team champions Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez, the NXT Women's Champion, were in action against the women that defeated them for the NXT Women's Tag Team titles, Chauncey Blackheart and Ember Moon, as well as a face-to-face as Cameron Grimes face-to-face with $1 million face-off with the $1 million Man Ted DiBiase. And we have the debut of Frankie Monet. I hope I pronounced it right. Frankie Monet. All this and more as the Pro Wrestling Show and important hot topics as well. This Pro Wrestling Show starts after this. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this live edition of the Pro Wrestling Show presents the NXT Ring Report. I'm your host, as always, Kendra Diggs here, as we give you a quick recap of what had happened tonight on the NXT Ring Report. But first thing first, join in the conversation using the hashtag Pro Wrestling here on Connect. And don't forget to subscribe. Subscribe is caring. Tell a friend, call a friend, hit that subscribe button so you won't miss a thing. That's what I'm saying. Subscribe. So if you're a big fan of pro wrestling, I want you to hit that subscribe button because we're dedicated to make pro wrestling content for you and give you recaps, highlights, and everything else, including this week's schedule that will have the instead of the SmackDown Ring Report, we'll have the AEW Ring Report as well as we'll have the Double or Nothing predict the outcome this weekend. So look out for those this coming weekend. So thank you all for watching this edition of the Pro Wrestling Show, the live edition here of the NXT Ring Report. We kicked things off on NXT. NXT kicked off with a bang as Chauncey Blackheart and Ember Moon came out with their tank trucks, whatever you like to call it. Those tank trucks came out there, and they came out there to meet the former tag team champions Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez, who's currently the NXT Women's Champion. I'm surprised they haven't found her a challenger yet, but maybe they'll be coming in stores soon. They're trying to build the women's division. See right here, Sasha Blackheart doing a arm drag to Dakota Kai, as well as Sansa trying to get the upper hand with a little do the hang on the ropes. Even good double team move right here by Gonzalez and Dakota Kai. Sasha Blackheart continued on to mount her comeback on Dakota Kai with a kick, severe kick. But they won I think they Sasha Blackheart and Ember Moon won the match, but Dakota Kai tried to send Ember Moon a message as well as the women's champion, Raquel Gonzalez, who hoists Sasha Blackheart on top of her shoulder and deliver a power bomb through those little rails, those little barricades and the plastic seals, as well as trying to ram her through the steel post, and sent the message, told her to make sure she watches, and she did watch emphatically. Wasn't the one she expected, but it was that. So you know how that ended up. So it's not far from over between these four lovely, talented, beautiful ladies anytime soon. As well as revenge was on the mind as Bobby Fish returned to action. He went against Pete Dunne. Bobby Fish never forgot what Pete Dunne had done to him at War Games in that match where the Undisputed Era went against Pat McAfee's team. Bobby Fish had an elbow surgery, his elbow, something was wrong with his elbow. And he wanted to get revenge on Pete Dunne, so he started kicking away at Pete Dunne. Pete Dunne, who's known as a brawler, who went outside the ring to kick the shoulders of Bobby Fish. Bobby Fish, a well-renowned wrestler, even when he was in his days in Ring of Honor. I can remember that and recall that. With Pete Dunne doing kicking and stomping away on the legs of Bobby Fish Bobby Fish tried to counteract Pete Dunne. He's a serious brawler, serious grappler, if you like to, as you can call, as you can see. He even tried to take the. It was just a physical dominant match. You see right here, Bobby Fish doing a version of the belly belly suplex, and Pete Dunne delivered his version of his signature move onto Bobby Fish, and I think Pete Dunne won the match. But Bobby Fish even got beat up by forgot that dude. This dude name is recall, but he helped Pete Dunne out. He was out there with Pete Dunne. And it's I think believe when you say it's far from over between these two men, because they're doing this physical dominant stuff, and they're kind of like the modern day now how Jericho and Chris Benoit was way back when. So look for them doing technical matches, Chris Benoit or Kurt Angle. So they complement each other and they want to be physical and smash mouth in the ring. So we'll see on that. Speaking of a person that's physical and smash mouth, I forgot this lady name. Max. I forgot her name, but she went. She was in action. And if many of you may know who she is, just let me know. But she was in action. She went against Raquel Gonzalez, but Raquel Gonzalez put a stop to her. So she dominated as well. She kept doing those butterfly suplexes. Even this too, a version of the um of the alley oop, snow pole or something like that. If you know how you recall. So she won a match and she was being dark and mysterious as well. So you know how that come around. Also, what's the $1 million face off between the $1 million Man and Ted DiBiase and NXT's version resident $1 million Man Cameron Grimes. Cameron Grimes, if you recall, he had that little controversy where GameStop and stocks and stuff, and it just risen. They trying to use that as a storyline that Cameron Grimes used the GameStop stock and it risen to his portfolio. Well, he met face to face with the $1 million Man Ted DiBiase, and he was sick and tired of Ted DiBiase playing these mind games, trying to embarrass him and humiliate him week after week. Well, DiBiase and Grimes had that little discussion until LA Knight came out there. LA Knight came out there, talked about himself like he always do, and he's saying that he's the one that should be under the advice of the man that Ted DiBiase should be managing him. Well, Cameron Grimes didn't look past between it, and Ted DiBiase swerved Cameron Grimes once again with the help of LA Knight. LA Knight, known as Eli Drake, stepped up and they pulled a swerve on Mr. Cameron Grimes, who didn't see that coming. So is Eli Knight, Eli Drake, I meant to say Eli Drake, LA Knight, is he's under the tutelage of Ted DiBiase? Only time will tell between this as the world turns. World turns indeed. Also, the debut of Frankie Monet, known as La Via Loca. Forgot that woman's name. Well, Franklin Monet. Ty Valkyrie. She was in action against some jobber, trying to make her look good. She beating up a jobber. So you know how that is. She started kicking away and stomping away as she went on by. And you can see right here Russian leg sweep to the jobber. Even did that spear. And I kind of noticed she lost a lot of weight. And she looked pretty good. No wonder John Morrison got himself a winner, whining deer and whining his wife. His wife, she lost a lot. She in stunning shape. I mean, she's in really good shape because she was, a little bit full figured then. Now she's in WWE now, so she won her match, her debut match on NXT. Frankie Monet. So look for things for her being the next NXT Women's Champion, or could probably compete for the Raw SmackDown Women's title. Never know in the near future. Also, speaking of champions, Bronson Reed, the new North American champion, made an appearance. Bronson Reed, joyful, gleeful, happy, elated. that he finally won the NXT North American title from Johnny Gargano inside a 15-foot high steel cage, which was really the match of the night last week. And he was glowful. He brought his wife out there to celebrate his win. Well, the party ended when La Familia came out there. That's what I'm calling La Familia. They came out there, and he was everybody Tasman talking about, hey, I want a shot at that North American title. The Cruiserweight Championship was the passport to get to the North American title. So it could be a future match between these two men down the line, and we'll see if that all comes to sudden between Bronson Reed and El Phantasma, who wants a shot at the North American title. You see right here, the MSK, the tag team champions, came out there to back up Bronson Reed, the North American champion from La Familia. So we could see a 6-man tag team match coming down the road soon, but we know next week that it's going to be the tag team titles we online as MSK defend their tag team titles against the El Phantasma La Familia State Bodyguard. So we'll look for that next week. Also, the NXT World Championship was online as Finn Balor challenges Karrion Kross for the title. The first time they had their match, it was historic. Balor lost to Kross at the last takeover event. Kross, who's now a 2-time champion, as well as Balor, he's a 2-time champion. And now they kind of meet one-on-one for the NXT title for the second time. Maybe we might see a rubber match. But you see right here, Finn Balor right here, pulling the arm of the champion Karrion Kross. Karrion Kross in phenomenal shape. Finn Balor's in phenomenal shape, in peak condition. You see right here, Karrion Kross delivering a German suplex. Karrion Kross is more of a powerhouse wrestler and a technical wrestler. He just goes and dissects, as well as Balor. Balor kind of reminds you of Chris Benoit in a way. He kind of dissects using the crossface, well famous from Benoit way back when, and doing those front end drop kicks to Kross. Kross had to use his power to use it to his advantage. As you see right here, Finn Balor trying to do a swanton onto Karrion Kross. Karrion Kross deliver a power bomb, slamming Balor through the table, and then he tried to Balor tried to pick himself up and deliver a sleeper. We thought in the moments of the match that Karrion Kross was going to slip away with the title. The title was going to slip away from him, but Karrion Kross found a way and used that patented sleeper hold and made Finn Balor submit and tap out. And Finn Balor now no longer a challenger, no contender. Finn Balor lost to Karrion Kross in the match. So Karrion Kross retains his NXT championship. And what's next for Karrion Kross? We know next week that it's going to be a triple threat match, a fatal four triple threat match to determine the next number one contender. Look for Kyle O'Reilly to win that match and go to meet Kross at the In Your House pay-per-view event. So look for that. Kyle O'Reilly, that Orange Cassidy wannabe. Well, it is what it is. All right. That ends the NXT Ring Report. All right. Let's move over quickly to Hot Topics. On Hot Topics this week. All right. Now, a lot of people are elated and excited that Adam Vert has been released. Him and WWE mutually agreed to part ways after, I guess the man couldn't handle the pressure. At first, my commentary about it was like, okay, he sucked. But then maybe WWE might get him, adjusted or quit. Well, they did. But for a minute, I thought, okay, well, he getting adjusted to it. And then all of a sudden, the news breaks out today that he no longer want to do the WWE and he's done. And fans went wild. And then, a lot of people like busted open radio. I listened to the podcast. They making fun of the man and saying, The man's sound bites like wow, ooh, wow, ooh, I mean, we get that sound bite, but wow, ooh, wow, wow, ooh, wow. In his commentary, if you know what I'm talking about, if you hear what I'm saying, he was saying that, and they tried to use it as a sound bite. It was funny at first. I'm like, wow, they really don't like this man. Then you go on Twitter, they really don't like the man. I'm like, man, they ain't getting the man his chance. Adam Vert started after WrestleMania, that Monday Night Raw after WrestleMania, and ever since he's been nearly about what 6 weeks now, and he's gone. I mean, he was nearly in 2 months in his job, and now he's gone. Now people want to say who's gonna replace him. It's obvious. It's obvious. A lot of people saying JR was gonna replace him. JR said, "I'm content. I'm happy. I'm fine. I'm at AEW where I want to be." But then Jim Ross, a legend in the broadcast, wrestling broadcast, he's been calling broadcast, slobber knocker, this and that. But Jim Ross knows he's getting up in age, so Jim Ross ain't gonna be doing this forever. So he's good now. Tony Schiavone the same way. They're up in age. They was in their prime like nearly 20 years ago. So to me, who rightfully should be there, he's coming back. Tom Phillips. Tom Phillips will be back this Monday on Raw. So expect that. Tom Phillips back. So he's the only one that they can lead the Raw broadcast. He should have been leading Raw in the beginning. Like I said, too, WWE's experiencing budget cuts. We know late in April they had to cut a lot of people. I mean, cut a lot of people. Superstars like Samoa Joe and everybody else. Even some NXT talent. We heard some stories about that. Now we're hearing that the WWE's cutting through the production side and the business side. I mean, this company got $1 billion, over $2 billion, and you can't keep all those people. Where's you? Come on now. Them the ones that make WWE. Now the ones that's in WWE, they got to work twice as hard to keep everything afloat. So WWE's a business first and foremost, but at the same token, you're a $1 billion business. You ain't like you going in the red. You're going in the green. So if you're going in the green, keep as many people you got. I never seen AEW release that many people, unless people wanted to leave and go elsewhere. Then that's fine. But I mean, it's kind of weird that they just releasing people, and they know they need those people. Maybe they pay rate was just too high. It is. But like I said, Adam Verk is no longer in the WWE as a commentator for Raw. He parted ways, so I guess it was just doomed to start. He was doomed to start in the beginning, doomed to fail. Once he just didn't know the product, they said he didn't know. He wasn't watching wrestling. He didn't know. That's the cardinal sins of it. You have to know. You have to have product knowledge. Yeah, product knowledge on everything you do in work in your field. Like in the field you try again, at least you know what the product knowledge is and what's the gist of it. You just don't just get in and you don't know what's going on, and then you start relying on other people. Other people gonna be so irritated and pointing to the blank, like, what is you doing? You need to know this stuff. I don't have to help you, You get to that point. Okay. So we thank Alan Berg. He was there for a minute and he's no longer there. So here's what it is. Also, too, this weekend we'll get in depth what's going on with the Velveteen Dream. He's released a statement this week on Instagram, linked this statement, and we'll deep dive in it and see what's going on with the Velveteen Dream, because we know he got released from WWE. He was a great talent, but he just let his personal business get out the way, and people just start calling him out on the woodwork. Also, too, Will Ospreay. People saying he got stripped of the IWGP World Title, and people saying he was trying to avoid from COVID reasons and stuff. So we'll get on that to see what's going on with that. He had to make proof that he had a neck injury, which is what it is. And then too, WWE is coming back. The fans are coming back to WWE. WWE is going back on the road this July. So everything is opening up again. The pandemic, believe me, the pandemic is people are start, getting back to normal. So that's a good thing. Everything's coming back into wrestling. And two, we'll talk about Buff Bagwell, his recent trouble with the law. I mean, what's going on with Buff Bagwell? He was a former WCW star. He just going all crazy. And we'll get in a deep dive too on what's going on with Raw with Charlotte, Rhea Ripley for the Raw Women's title in Hell in a Cell. So there's a lot of news going on this week. So we'll get you covered this weekend for the Friday edition of SmackDown in AEW. And two, we'll get you on the AEW Double or Nothing predicted outcome as well. As much vested news we can cover in hot topics and going on in wrestling. So we done it all tonight. So for me being Kendrick Dick saying so long, we'll see you we'll see you this Friday for SmackDown and Dynamite. And for the predicted outcome for Double or Nothing, where I predict the matches and give you a prediction and previews, match previews on who's gonna leave with what. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you this weekend. See you later.